Welcome to Trial by Wine. We take a closer look at crimes that highlight how fascinating humans can be. Schmitty, Swanee and Clarky visit crimes and run them through their jury of three, debating both sides of the case to agree an appropriate, if totally fictitious, sentence. Please be advised, Trial by Wine may include explicit or disturbing content and will include drunken rambling. Listener discretion is advised. All right, how are we?
Very well, thank you. How about yourselves?
Yeah, good. I see Swanee's madly trying to eat a piece of chocolate.
Beef jerky. I couldn't quite get a I'm well, thank you out at the same time.
That's all right. And Clarky and Wooey look a little bit tired.
Bleary-eyed.
Given it's 6 a.m. in Santiago. So I'll just introduce us. I'm Schmitty.
I'm Swanee.
And I'm Clarky. And together we are Trial by Wine.
Beautiful. And what are we drinking?
I've kind of branched out. I've got a Diet Coke.
Your fave.
Is it Airbnb coffee or is it nice coffee?
Yeah, no, there's no such thing as nice coffee this hour of the morning in Santiago, but it's Nescafe Cappuccino sachets.
Oh.
We say sachets. Somebody a long time ago used to say sachets as sachets, so we still say that.
They probably also said patio.
It's actually quite good, all things considered.
I don't find the sachets bad. Yeah.
You don't? Oh.
No.
Yes, in the coffee sachets or the pronunciation.
No, the coffee sachets and things like chai latte sachets, they're all right.
Anyway, what are you drinking?
Well, I am drinking a Captain Morgan spiced rum with Pepsi Max. So I got a bit of pirate juice for us today.
Good.
Nice. Things could get
in a while.
interesting.
We'll see how it goes. That's right. All right. And who's got a story for us today?
Me. I have.
Oh, excellent. All right.
Yes.
Go for it.
Alrighty. So today I would like to take you both to Greece. So that we
I'd
can
love
discuss.
to go to Greece.
There.
Yeah. It's a very, very nice place. We haven't been there from a crime perspective, but it's a great place to visit. So, no. And I'm going to tell you a story of a man known as the Greek Robin Hood. But before I do, I'll tell you my sources. So first up, I've got Wikipedia, badassoftheweek.com.
Oh, that's promising.
B92.net. How good's that?
Good
How good's that for a
week.
source?
Yeah.
Yeah. TheGuardian.com, amp.france24.com, bbc.co.uk, and there was one particular article by an author, Jeff Maish, who I've paraphrased a fair bit. He did a very good telling of the story, and the San Diego Union Tribune. So they're my sources. So if you're ready, let's head over to Greece.
Crack on into it, yeah.
So I promised after my last story that I'll try to find something a little bit lighter for you because there have been a number of deaths in my recent stories. So this one, you'll be pleased to know, has no deaths. So let's get stuck into it. So over a period of more than 30 years, kick back and enjoy yourselves. Drop your shoulders.
Now that I can relax a little bit and not have to be so concerned.
Yeah, put your feet up on the desk,
Don't
I'm
brace
not even
yourself.
going to have to say to you at any point, strap yourself in or any of that.
Oh.
So it's
Or
all
take
good.
your headphones off, Swanee, yeah.
Yeah, good to know.
Yes. But have your laughing boots on because I think you'll be able to find some humour in this one. So over a period of more than 30 years, our criminal has taken millions from state-owned banks, kidnapped businessmen, and liberally distributed cash to the needy, along the same lines as other famous bandits such as Ned Kelly. However, he says that he differs in that he claims to have hurt no one during his misadventures.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, when did Ned Kelly give money to the poor? Like, seriously, Ned Kelly was just a horse-rustling murderer. Can we not please, on this podcast, glorify Ned Kelly?
Oh, I don't mind it.
Kelly's a real Victorian thing. You seem to
Oh,
know
he
more.
absolutely is.
Yeah, do you know what I mean?
absolutely.
It's like it's your kind of.
Yeah.
You're entitled to an opinion. I don't know that the rest of the country is yet. Do you know what I mean? I wouldn't have an opinion. I wouldn't dare.
He was a bushranger. He was Irish. Sure, he got picked on like all the other Irish, but he went around stealing horses and he killed police people, and then he formed a gang who did more of the same until they all got killed in Glenrowan. Oh, no, he didn't actually. Got shot, and he infamously had his armour. And then he went down to Melbourne and was executed in the old Melbourne jail, and his last words are, "Such is life." There you go. That's Ned Kelly for you. What a load
Good
of
excellent
shit.
summary.
Right.
So today he remains one of Europe's most wanted men. Have you heard of him at all? Ringing any bells yet?
No.
Not at all, no.
Okay, so one of his former cellmates, Palaiokostas Brothers, is quoted as saying, "Criminals snatch purses from old ladies. Vasilis was on a different level. He is a socially accepted bandit and a hero." But just like the
his name was
original Robin Hood,
Polycarbonate. What was his name? Polycarbonate. What?
Palaiokostas Brothers.
Oh, sorry, my mistake. Okay.
Yeah, no, yeah. But this is the only time he gets a mention in the story, so don't try to remember his name.
Okay. Don't focus on
So just
Polycarbonate Georgiasis. Yeah.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let him go. So just like the original Robin Hood, Vasilis is despised by the authorities he plagues. They portray him as a violent terrorist, and Greek journalists have strangely shied away from telling his incredible story. So let me introduce you to...
Maybe that's why we don't know who he is. Yeah.
Could be. Let me introduce you to Vasilis Palaiokostas. Haven't heard of him?
No.
No, me neither. Let's go then. So he was born in 1966 and grew up in the village of Moskofito, maybe, in Greece, which is located in central Greece. Yeah. That's my beautiful, perfect Greek accent, I think. So it's an area in central Greece, snow-capped mountains, all that kind of thing, so quite lovely, although hard to grow up there. So he lived there with his father, brother, and the goats that they farmed. And Vasilis grew up idolising his brother, Nikos. Are you laughing at goat farmers?
Yeah, I am.
I thought you might be. So it's funny that's even funny for no good reason. They were not wealthy, but they were tough, not only surviving the brutal conditions of the mountains, but doing so often without shoes. So when the snow grew too deep, Nikos would carry Vasilis on his shoulders 3 miles to the nearest school. According to the article I read, it sounds like,
God.
you know, when
this
your
is
grandparents...
literally like all those stories. When I was your age, I had to carry my brother Basil 3 miles to school. I didn't have any shoes, and we'd get there late. We'd get the strap, and then we'd have have off milk for morning tea, and then I'd have to carry him back home. Yes. I feel like I have heard this before. Yeah.
When I was... Yes, anyway, so that's exactly where I went with that. So in 1979, the family moved to the nearby town of Trikala. Nikos, 19 at the time, had left home to find work on the ships, and Vasilis, just 13, struggled to fill his brother's shoes.
They had no shoes.
His brother didn't have any shoes. What are you talking about? That's right.
He had no one to carry him around. I mean, please.
Not all listening.
Yeah, you two are red hot. I think
no brother is going to carry his other brother 3 miles unless he has a disability or something. I mean, brothers, not buying it.
Drag him by the hair maybe, but carry, I don't know.
And if you have to, certainly complain and protest. You're not going to go, oh, okay, on my shoulders, 3 miles, off we go.
Yeah. I love you, brother. Let's do this.
Yes.
So his father, Leonidas Palaiokostas, remembers he stood on a production line at a cheese factory for 2 years. He was the quiet one, very introverted.
That's funny because, I'd imagine on the cheese production line it'd be like just a lot of really witty kind of outspoken
Japes.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh, look at this cheese.
Oh, yeah. What a time to be alive. Why are you so quiet over there? What a place to work.
I reckon I'd be starting cheese fights if I worked in a cheese salon.
You would. You'd be sacked in 5
boring.
seconds.
100%. Let's make this fun.
You'd be going out and saying, okay, I need you in the back office. We've got a police officer on the line. I've been told to do a strip search.
Oh, no. So as he was working on the cheese line, and around the time, he saw the Greek economy swelling and the rich getting richer as the country moved closer to joining the European Union. And one afternoon, he thought, sod this, and he walked out of the cheese factory and never returned.
He thought, sod this. Literally, that's the translation of the Greek that he used. Sod this.
It's such
that's my
emotive exit from the cheese. You just think you can just really feel him, just defiance. I bet people are just going, don't do it, come back. You'll never get another job like this. What an opportunity missed. Come back. No. Solid over the word, yes. You can stick it, you can slap your cheese.
Getting rich, yeah.
I've got
to Philadelphia. This is Swiss cheese pervert. He'll love it.
This is no good. I've got visions of him looking out the window and not paying attention to the cheese line as the cheese just builds up at the end of the line, just falling off the line, and someone coming over and having a go at him and going, you've got to be better than this. This is an important job, and him just going,
cheese is only for the rich. Screw this.
That's right. This is the cheesiest moment of my life. Anyway, so the problem was once he walked out of the cheese factory, he realised that he had no skills by which to make a living. So he turned to stealing.
I thought you were going to say once he walked out, he realised he had no shoes. Sorry. Yeah, had no skills. Okay.
He made some out of cheese.
He needed to go to reskill. He needed to go to TAFE. So he just decided to become a thief.
Yeah, 100%. Yep. So by that time, his brother Nikos had returned from sea. He didn't last very long there. And so between 1979 and 1986, they were allegedly responsible for 27 robberies. Guess what they mainly stole? It wasn't cheese. Well, it's just the two brothers at this point.
Goats.
Not goats. It's something of the time. So 79 to 86.
Jeans.
Acid wash.
Jeans.
Video recorders.
Oh. Betamax or VHS?
Yeah. Do you remember?
Hopefully VHS.
Yeah. Do you remember back in the day video recorders used to get stolen all the time?
I've completely forgotten
expensive.
about that.
Yeah, I do notice that. Do you mean the video recorders or the video player? The box that's on the TV or the actual a camera?
Oh, yeah. Do you mean a camera?
The player.
One's a recorder, one's
the player. But you could record with
which
them
you could
off the
record
TV.
on it. I know what you mean. Yeah. That's what I thought that's
Yeah,
what
yeah.
was
Well,
just,
sorry.
They're not saying loads of cameras.
That's what it is.
No, I think you're right.
I think that's what it would be. You'd have access to that. They're the kind of things that people have.
Because actually, people didn't have a lot of cameras. Cameras were extremely expensive too.
Yes. Yeah, very.
And they were big, and they were a bit later maybe.
When CD players came out, they were extortionately expensive.
Yeah.
And there was only three CDs available to actually play on them too. So what was the point? Anyway.
True. Also, now that he's got all these video recorders and new to electricity, he became hooked on action movies, often staying up all night, gripped by Stallone as Rocky, anything Schwarzenegger, and Clint Eastwood in Escape from Alcatraz.
Anything.
Around
I think he was stealing the films as well.
It sounds like it. Maybe he's stealing it and the video was still in it.
Yeah.
That's what I reckon. I feel like that's exactly what happened.
But I
reckon he was just trying to steal the movies, but he just took the whole recorder.
That was quicker. When you say anything Schwarzenegger, really? Even Conan the Barbarian? Even? Come on.
Especially.
Well, there wouldn't have been a whole lot. What about Twins?
Oh, that was
Twins probably wasn't out.
Kindergarten Cop was totally my cup of tea.
Kindergarten Cop was the best. It is
I love that.
It's not a tumor.
I think perhaps not anything Schwarzenegger.
Okay.
I think it was more action Schwarzenegger than Kindergarten Cop Schwarzenegger.
We'd have to check the catalogue between the years of 79 and 86. It wouldn't have been a lot.
No. Twins and Kindergarten Cop hadn't been made. No, that's right.
Oh, poor guy.
Terminator wasn't even out then. And that film that really doesn't.
Oh, maybe.
it doesn't really translate so well in today's day and age, True Lies.
I like True Lies. No, excellent diversion.
Watch it now. It's the whole Jamie Lee Curtis.
Is it bad?
Dancing for. Oh yeah, it really doesn't translate so well in this day and age.
Of its time, yeah,
correct.
Right.
Yeah. A little problematic. Anyway.
All right. So around this time, and still a petty thief, he met Costas Samaras, who would turn into a major influence in his life
and become part of the gardening show years later in SBS. Yeah.
Yes, that's exactly him, because there is only one Costas. One Greek Costas, anyway.
As far as I'm aware, there is only one Greek Costas. That's right, yeah.
So, older and more sophisticated than the Palaiokostas boys.
Not hard.
Costas was an aspiring criminal mastermind who had studied at design school and would plan elaborate robberies in a sketchbook.
He actually did a Cert 3 criminal mastermind.
He really was an influence.
Yeah. He studied
kind of, yeah. Well, he was only an aspiring one, so he didn't actually.
That's because he
probably didn't study.
Diploma.
He may not have even got into the. Yeah, that's right. The fact that he would plan his elaborate robberies in the sketchbook earned him the nickname of the artist.
Oh, I like it.
Together, the Palaiokostas brothers and the artist graduated to robbing jewellery stores and banks.
Oh, good on you.
So remember we were talking about the movies that he likes?
Yes.
Oh.
I want you to picture some of those whilst I tell you about their first heist together.
Ocean's 3. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a little bit like that. Or Mediterranean's 3. So they, in their first heist, they placed a huge industrial oven in front of the door to the police station. Vasilis then climbed to the top of a hill and fired a rifle to get the cops' attention. The police heard the gunshots and rushed out of the station. However, as they did so, they realised the door was blocked, and it took them a few minutes to break out of the station to head towards where the gunshots were coming from. By the time they did this, the artist and Nikos were already holding up the local jeweller.
So the police didn't for a minute go, this looks like a ruse? No.
No, they went, someone's been shot, let's go and find out what's going on. Oh, hang on a minute.
So it has to be an industrial, an offshore oven.
An oven?
But that can't be related to shots that he heard. No. Yeah, okay.
No. So then they get in their cars to go down the road and they encounter spikes on the road that punctures their tyres. It's so good. Not surprisingly, they managed to rob the jeweller and escape with their haul. Getting away with this crime led to a blur of bank raids and other capers in the 1980s, with Vasilis distributing the proceeds to anyone who sheltered him. So he'd say things like, to a farmer, kill me a pig for me to eat, and he'd pay him 1,000 drachma instead of the going rate of about 10. So he became quite loved by the people around him.
Yeah, okay.
Because of his generosity. So massive inflation in Greece saw the price of a beer quadruple between 1985 and 1992. God, I invested a fair bit of money in beer at that time and it never quadrupled for me. Just gave me hangovers. So the public grew more distrustful of the government and critical of corruption inside the state-run banks. So there's this picture, I guess, of people not liking the banks and the Palaiokostas brothers who are stealing from the banks and then, giving excesses of money to other people meant that they became quite popular and they had a fair bit of support from the community.
Were they referred to as the Palaiokostas Brothers?
They didn't really have a name for a gang or anything. So it's interesting because I think, as I said at the start, there's not much media coverage of all of this. But I think they should have been, definitely. The Palaiokostas brothers and the artist. That's a bit like Schmitty, Super Schmitty, Courageous Kazi and Paul. Yeah. An era of cat and mouse between the cops and the robbers began. In April 1990, Palaiokostas was arrested while attempting to rescue his brother from prison. So Nikos was in prison and Vasilis went to... It's exactly
Look at us, no one's going to die, so it's a free-for-all.
Yeah. Hold that buzzer because you will need that later on in this story, I promise you.
Before I was sitting here going, damn it, when you're doing the whole, industrial oven, and I'm like, oh shit, I need to download the Benny Hill thing. This is ridiculous. All right, sorry. Go on.
You have absolute license to use it at any point during this story. So he went to attempt to rescue Nikos by driving through a wall in a stolen tank. What?
Oh. Because they move fast.
It didn't. Yeah, exactly right. No one will see me coming in this. Well, think back to the movies. I mean, he's going to just follow. Surely that happened in one of those scenes. A tank barged through something.
Oh, absolutely. Probably in True Lies.
Yeah. He was imprisoned, but it did not take him long to escape. So in January 1991, he managed to escape from Chalkida jail using bed sheets to climb over the wall.
That classic, yep.
Yeah.
I think we're going to have something after this called I forgot their surname. How do I say it?
Palaiokostas
Brothers?
Palaiokostas.
The Palaiokostas Brothers playbook. I mean, it's going to be one of those things we're going to have to reference because they're
go down in history.
So good at this.
Yeah. Palaiokostas
catchphrases. They're experts.
Yeah. I'm going to have to write that down phonetically. Hang on, give me a minute.
Basil and Nick.
Basil and Nick.
That's what it is in Greek. Basilius is Basil. Basil!
Is Basilius? I thought it was William.
It's actually Basil, but it's often translated as William, but it's actually Basil. It means the king.
Ah. Yeah. Oh, the only reason I have my own experience with a Basilius, that we called him Vasiphilus, yes. He was my stepbrother and I stayed in a hotel, and he was the barman who took a liking to young Swanee, and it was a bit full on, really. But we called him Vasiphilus because he was a bit scary.
Okay.
His name was, I thought it was Vasilius. What are you saying? It's Vasilius.
Vasilius or Vasilius?
Vasilius.
This is Vasilius, but there are different ones. But it's anyway, I'm going to call him Basil because,
Baz.
It's a regal name. Yep.
It's very faulty towers too.
Basil and Nick.
Yeah, that's true.
So, despite the riches they accrued, they preferred to live like peasants, only spending what they needed.
Because they were.
And I'm not sure if you've heard it, the famous Greek proverb that says, if you steal something small, you are a petty thief. But if you steal millions, you are a gentleman of society.
Ooh, cutting. Oh, that's cutting. Yes.
And quite catchy too. So let's talk about their escalation in crimes. So in June 1992, the robbers planned a heist more daring than any they had carried out before. They were in the hills of Meteora, a rocky outcrop that overlooked the rooftops of Kalambaka. I apologise again for my excellent Greek pronunciation. The area has been continuously inhabited for 50,000 years and has traditionally been a sanctuary for hermits, bandits and fugitives like the Palaiokostas Brothers.
Gypsies, tramps and thieves.
Tramps and thieves, you hear it from the people of town. Love it. That is a great song too.
Palaiokostas, the musical.
I can see it already. Yes.
Yeah. Palaiokostas.
So Kalambaka is a small town in which the bank is just 500 yards from the local police station. So to pull off a robbery of the bank would require some serious planning, and if successful, would make the police look ridiculous.
Get that sketchbook
out.
So
as Nikos conducted surveillance...
This one calls for
That's right, exactly. It's funny you say that. So as Nikos conducted surveillance through his binoculars, the artist sketched the town square on a scrap of paper, and a plan was formulated. The artist blockaded the path the police would take to get to the bank with a stolen truck, and the three men brazenly walked into the bank wearing suits and sunglasses and armed with automatic weapons. Realising what was happening, a cashier pressed the silent alarm before being forced to open the safe at gunpoint. At the time, the Greek economy was flush and its banks were loaded with borrowed cash. So when they opened the safe, they found that there was way more money than they could have expected. And Vasilis praised God and began filling his duffel bag.
Thank you, Jesus.
Then came the sirens. Yeah, that's right. Praise the Lord.
I have seen the light. It's like when you sit there in suits and sunglasses, I had a Blues Brothers kind of, impression, and now he's praising Jesus.
Yeah. It's a little bit Blues Brothers-ish. The sirens come, and, of course, because there's a truck in the way, it takes them a little bit longer to get to the bank than it should have. Mm-hmm. And the three men hear the sirens and quickly leave the bank and roar away in a stolen Audi towards the mountains of their childhood.
Shame. I was hoping it was a Mini Cooper.
However, the police... that would have been good. The police were hot on their tails, and the brothers were worried that they'd get caught and needed to find a way to slow the police down. What do you reckon they did?
Put goats on the road. Oh, no, I'm fixated on the goats. Can't help it.
The fainting goats.
Yeah.
So Vasilis had a great idea. He opened one of the duffel bags and started tossing handfuls of cash from the window.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And, of course, bills rained down on the villagers, causing chaos in the streets. Exactly. It's like Catch Me If You Can. I'll catch... What's that TV show?
Yeah,
where they put him in the money machine and you had to grab it.
That's years and
Catch
years
It If
ago.
You Can.
I can't remember.
Price is Right.
Yeah,
that's what. Right. Yeah, okay.
Was it The Price is
I
Right?
like it.
Just like that, the bank robbers got away. So they only spent 3 minutes inside the bank and they managed to steal 125 million drachmas, worth about 360,000 pounds at the time.
Okay.
50 cents. Pity. Yeah, so it's worth quite a lot. And it remains the biggest robbery of cash from a bank in Greek history.
Ooh, okay.
And maybe the only one that was shared with passers-by.
It was quite a good idea, though. Like to throw, if you got all that money, praise Jesus, it's not a bad idea to throw some of it out as a decoy, It's
genius.
Wow,
It's genius.
I wouldn't go that far, but it's pretty good, yeah.
It worked. As part of the plan, they also stole someone's Nissan to get around the mountains once they'd gotten away.
Was it a cube by any chance?
That would suit the music
cube.
for sure.
No one will notice that.
It maxed out at slightly above walking pace.
You could put a tablecloth over it, or it would look like a moving table.
It looked like a tank.
No, nothing to see here.
So once they were done with the cube, they returned it to the owner with 150,000 drachma, so roughly 400-odd pound, under the carpet.
Said, get yourself a better car.
They also had the car polished before they returned it, which is very generous of them.
Oh, my gosh, so good.
So the gang's activities prompted banks to increase security, and credit cards were beginning to replace cash, making the Kalambaka haul unlikely to be repeated. Maybe for this reason, Palaiokostas gave up robbing banks for a while. So, of course, with that source of income gone, he needed another way to bring in money, and he turned his hand to kidnapping rich industrialists and holding them to ransom.
Oh, wow.
It's not cool. Kidnapping people's pretty traumatic.
But you just listen.
Now we're in the Ned Kelly region.
Okay. You were the one saying that he wasn't like Ned Kelly earlier. Now you are.
I was saying Ned Kelly was a monster. Let's not make him sound like a funny larrikin. That's all I was trying to say.
Okay, fair. So on Friday, the 15th of December 1995, at 8:15 a.m., billionaire factory owner Alexander Haitoglu was leaving his villa in Thessaloniki to drive to work. He hadn't gotten far before he was forced off the road, and before he knew it, he was hustled into a high-powered jeep. Once the Palaiokostas brothers had captured their target, Vasilis demanded more than 260 million drachma.
How much is that? About
worth
$28?
about 714,000 pounds at the time, or about 1.2 million in today's money. The ransom was paid and Haitoglu was released. And he later said, Schmitty, it was a well-thought-out kidnapping. My kidnapper's behaviour was not bad at all. I was not scared for myself. Actually, I enjoyed some wide-ranging discussions with the kidnappers. So they were, as far as kidnappers go, they were quite well-mannered.
Yeah, so they were intellectuals.
Yeah. The Greek police responded by placing an incredible bounty of 250 million drachmas on Palaiokostas' head, calling the kidnappers ruthless.
1 billion drachmas.
Exactly.
It sounds like such stupid money. Sorry.
250 gazillion. So they called the kidnappers ruthless professionals practicing organised crime on a scale unprecedented in our country. However, Vasilis continued his Robin Hood shenanigans, distributing some of the ransom among local farmers and the homeless. His father says he gave 100,000 drachmas to some orphan girls who needed to marry. So we've discussed we've discussed previously about dowries, and Greece is one of the places that needed dowries, and so women couldn't get married without them. So as usual, he was using his proceeds of his crimes to help those less well off. So with a huge bounty on his head and police searching for him, Palaiokostas lived for 3 years as a fugitive in the hills. Occasionally in disguise, he would go for a joyride. On the 20th of December 1999, he went for a drive and crashed his car. Onlookers rushed to call an ambulance as he pleaded, "Don't tell them who I am. I'm Vasilis Palaiokostas." I feel like had he not told them who he was, they wouldn't have told them who he is.
Well, they just didn't say anything. Exactly, yeah.
Who are you? Oh, right.
I'm really famous. I'm really wanted. Don't tell anyone.
Yeah, don't tell anyone. So, funnily enough, shortly after, a call was made to the emergency call centre stating, "We've got a man here who must have a head injury. He thinks he's the most wanted man in Greece."
Oh.
He was captured and sentenced to 25 years in prison. He was sent to Corfu prison. Here the food was terrible. The prison was overcrowded and the inmates had no shoes, reminding Vasilis of his own barefoot upbringing. He wanted to do something to help
It
his
reminded
fellow
me of his
inmates.
upbringing. That was my first thought, Clarky.
All those no shoes
that reminds me of.
Yeah,
darling. That reminds me of when you were a child and your brother carried you 3 miles on his back.
In the snow with no shoes.
In the snow, yeah, God. So he decided that he needed to do something about this horrible situation. And he told a visiting preacher that he needed to organise shoes for the prisoners. And the preacher subsequently helped him find hundreds of pairs for the shoeless prisoners.
Find them? What? They were just scattered about?
I feel like the preacher just knocked shit off. He went into his local Nike and just, this is a stick-up.
Went to an op shop. I'll find you some shoes, mate.
So, however, as I'm sure you can appreciate, Vasilis did not like being in Corfu and wanted to escape. In May 2003, prison guards found a detailed plan of the jail in his cell and immediately transferred him to the maximum security Kordalis prison near Athens. We don't want him to escape, so we'll send him to Kordalis. He'll never escape from there. Kordalis is one of Europe's most notorious jails. It's home to murderers, war criminals, and terrorists.
Gypsies, tramps, and thieves.
A little more than 6 years into his 25-year sentence for kidnapping and bank robbery, Palaiokostas was locked up with Alket Rizai, a desperate Albanian hitman.
Rizzo.
And the two became unlikely friends. Rizzo. There are worse things I could do
than to be in jail with you.
Vasilis was determined to escape, and he and Alket began working on a plan. By the 4th of June 2006, he had been in jail for 2,358 days. On that same day, at 6:15 p.m.
I was watching you try to do the math then.
2,358 days. 2,358 days.
That's what I was singing, you reckon?
What do you measure? A sentence in jail.
So, on that same day at 6:15 p.m. near Athens, a commercial helicopter pilot named Kyriakos was boarding his helicopter.
Oh.
He conducted joyrides over Attica and had 2 passengers on board. 5 minutes after takeoff, one of his 2 passengers pressed a handgun into his neck. It was Nikos Palaiokostas.
What?
And he told the pilot that the sightseeing... Yes, exactly. Nikos said to the pilot, the sightseeing trip is over, and they would have changed the route. Within 10 minutes, the chopper was inside of Korydallos prison and reducing speed.
I should hope so.
Yeah. The guards, seeing the helicopter, assumed that a prison authority was arriving for a spot inspection and straightened their uniforms. As the chopper touched down in the exercise yard outside, creating a dust storm, the pilot yelled, "They've got grenades, they've got explosives." Over the high-pitched roar of the turbine, a guard yelled, "Break out, break out," and the escape was on. Moments after, Vasilis and
I thought it was like, I can't hear you.
How would they have heard about the chopper?
Come again, come again. So moments after, Vasilis and Rizai ran to the chopper and it took off. The guards pointed their guns in the air but knew nothing better than to shoot because the prison is located on a residential street outlined with orange trees and children who had been kicking a ball against the prison walls.
Oh, what a bad location for a high maximum security prison.
On one side is murderers and terrorists, and on the other is kids and kicking a ball against a wall and orange trees.
Yeah. Oh, isn't it so lovely? Oh, my goodness.
So, at Skisto, north of Athens, the helicopter touched down in a quiet cemetery and Vasilis embraced his brother. He gave the panicked pilot a string of worry beads to calm his nerves before the men roared off on their stolen motorcycles.
He's got a flair for the dramatic, I'll give him that.
Oh, yeah, it all comes back to the VCR days where he was watching all those movies. So the warden of the prison later explained that he was off duty at the time of the helicopter escape and that the artist was most likely the inspiration behind the plot. The artist shared Palaiokostas' obsession with videos, collecting in his cell a complete encyclopedia of prison films from Escape to Victory to The Shawshank Redemption. So, after that prison escape, in 2006, Rizai and Nikos were quickly captured, but Vasilis remained free and vowed to continue his crime spree. On the 9th of June,
he's good, isn't he?
He's very, very good.
I've got work to do.
He's got skills. So on the 9th of June 2008, he kidnapped George Moulonis, a billionaire aluminium magnate who had outraged the nation's poor by claiming that workers needed to tighten their belts. Moulonis was captured at gunpoint outside his home and taken away by Vasilis. The ransom was demanded, and a family desperate to get Moulonis home paid it. So I did a bit of research on this to try to find the exact amount, but I couldn't find an exact amount. But I did see a sentence that said the ransom was later reported to be 12 million euros. That's a fucking lot of
1
money.
billion drachma.
But that's euros. That is a lot of money. It's because of course, we don't have the drachma around anymore. So,
assuming he had it, so why not?
Yeah. So Moulonis said of
You said he was a billionaire, didn't you?
Yeah.
Drop in the ocean. Petty cash.
So Moulonis said of his captors, they were polite and they treated me well. Vasilis even brought him a morning newspaper every day and cheerily asked him, "What's going on, Georgie?" So he's got his 12 million euros. However, unbeknownst to Vasilis, the notes of the ransom had been marked and the authorities began tracking him down. So on the 2nd of August 2008, as he was pouring a drink and settling down to watch a DVD, because we're now out of the VCR days.
Yes, he's graduated.
A SWAT team smashed through the door. They grabbed Vasilis and took him away and did a quick search of the property. They found a DVD copy of Ransom and the Al Pacino movie Heat about two veteran bank robbers evading the cops. So he's committed to his research.
Oh, it's worked for him. Certainly the idea of having the helicopter come into the prison yard feels very theatrical.
Very movie, doesn't it?
Very dramatic.
Hollywood inspired. So he'd been on the run for 791 days when he was captured, and the police were understandably proud of the capture. Malcolm Brabant, the then BBC Greece's correspondent, reported, "For the first time in nearly 2 decades, the Greek police have obtained the last laugh in their long-running battle of wits with the notorious Palaiokostas Brothers. It is not known how Palaiokostas spent those ransom millions. At his pre-trial hearing in Athens in January 2009 on new charges of kidnapping and robbery, a large crowd gathered outside the court. There were farmers, peasants, and anarchists alike, a little bit like downtown Santiago last night, but that's another story. So they were all chanting, "Death to pigs, freedom to Palaiokostas." So a group of young women also invaded the courtroom acting like fans of Palaiokostas. And I'm kind of envisioning Beatles mania now. I'm not sure if that's correct, but let's go with that. Yeah. So around the same time, Alket Rizai's case was also going to court. And as Rizai returned to court to be sentenced to 25 years, his glamorous girlfriend, Sulia Mitropia, theatrically sobbed and threw her arms around him. And when no one was watching, she slipped a mysterious watch into his pocket.
Wait, what? Did you say a watch?
A mysterious watch, not just a watch.
Oh, mysterious. I thought you said serious.
Yeah.
So that's where I was questioning. I thought,
a serious watch.
What's a serious watch? I was like, I
watch.
didn't think I heard that correctly. I didn't.
It's like my watch if I say, "Hey,
very
Siri."
straight face.
Oh, go away, Siri.
Don't, because she'll start.
Okay.
She'll start up.
Yeah, she
you
can.
told it.
I know. Rookie error.
Poor Siri.
I got caught up in the moment. So the judge sent Palaiokostas back to his old cell at Korydallos, along with Alket Rizai. Basilis was defeated.
That's a good idea because that worked well last time.
Yeah, correct. It's actually funny because the prison that he actually went to is in dispute, but I'll talk to you a little bit about that later. Basilis was defeated and told the court, "I played and lost. The police are victorious." On the streets of Athens, anarchists mourned the end of his remarkable winning streak. However, what happened on the 22nd of February 2009 would make Basilis Palaiokostas infamous around the world. It would lead to the creation of a Facebook fan page with 50,000 members and inspire a folk song. And I'll sing this very, very badly because we know I can't sing. And also,
I was in Greek.
I don't even understand how you could put a tune to this, but Vasilis is untouchable. And in his method, I'm going to say it because it doesn't make any sense. Vasilis is untouchable, and in his methods of escape, undefeatable Vasilis, you are uncatchable. Apparently that's a song. So
You're uncatchable. You're untouchable. I think Sia sang it.
A few times.
Is that Sia? Is that the song I'm thinking of? I'm unstoppable. This is definitely his song. That's I'm going to change the lyrics now. Could you just repeat?
Brilliant.
Could you just tell me again? Tell me what the original.
Uncatchable. Is it uncatchable?
Vasilis is untouchable, and in his methods of escape, undefeatable. Vasilis, you are uncatchable.
Oh my god, it's perfect. Oh my god, Sia has clearly stolen that, I would imagine, because I think Vasilis' song came before hers. Oh my lord, I think we've just uncovered like a copyright case of our own.
She must be
She's
doing
stolen
the
that
same
idea,
Google
I think.
searches that I am. God.
She must be. Oh, I'm a bit overheated after
Right.
something of that. Sorry, everybody. Woo.
So just in terms of the prisons, stop it. So just in terms of the prison, so he'd gone, my understanding is he was in a different prison until he went to court, and when he was sentenced, or when they said, all right, go back to prison, he was sent to Korydallos then, and to be sentenced in a couple of days' time. So it was the 21st of February when they put him back into Korydallos, and he was to be sentenced on the 23rd of February. That's important because he's in one prison. They sent him to Korydallos where he's escaped from. So on the morning before he's to be sentenced, on the 22nd of February, things started just like any other day. Palaiokostas pumped a little iron in the prison gym and jogged around the exercise yard, while Rizai picked winners on the Pro-Code betting game. However,
He did what?
He picked winners. He was gambling. And there was a whole lot of stuff about how he
In
thought...
prison?
Yeah, I know, right? Anyway, here we are.
Very easygoing prison. Okay.
Yeah, also with murderers, terrorists and whatever.
GCs, tramps and thieves. Yeah. Murderers, terrorists, robbers and shit.
And
Yes.
gamblers and shit.
Oh, yeah.
Couldn't think of another rhyme.
However,
Shit.
at around 3 p.m., Rizai's mysterious watch began to ring. That's right, the one that his girlfriend had slipped into his pocket.
Oh, the serious one. The serious one.
Yeah, the serious
For
watch.
God's sake, this is so silly.
He answered
And then,
it, and it was his girlfriend. And she said, Rizai, it's time. Shortly after that, the siren at Cordalis prison wailed, signalling that the prisoners were to return to their cells from the yard. It was then that a guard on a lookout tower heard the unmistakable hum of rotor blades and looked up to see a chopper descending over the third wing of the prison.
This is ridiculous. This is just ridiculous. Twice? Once I understand, but twice?
Same prison, same prisoner.
What's the saying? Once is like bad made,
Listen.
twice fool.
I was going to say, the way President Bush said it the first time. There's an old Texan saying, fool me once, shame on
You can't fool me.
You can't fool me.
I'm an individual. It reminds me of that Jacko song. I'm an individual. You can't fool me.
You can't fool me. I'd forgotten about another bloody visual. Oh my God, I have not heard that in so many visual. You can't fool me. Was he an AFL player? Yes.
Yeah, he was.
So, yeah.
Yeah, he played
Mark
for
Jackson.
Geelong, I think.
Oh my
Yeah,
God, did
that's
I
him.
get that right?
I
You
think he was
did,
an
you
AFL
nailed
player.
it.
I don't even know how I know that. Shut up, your face.
That's a different one. But also, that could get a go, yeah?
I know.
The guard looked up to see a chopper descending over the third wing of the prison, and he grabbed his automatic weapon and sounded the alarm. He knew this was not a drill, and this time they would shoot to kill.
There's Klingons on the starboard bow. There's Klingon on the starboard bow. Get them off, Jim. We come in peace. Shoot to kill. We come in peace. Shoot to kill, Jim. Carla's like,
No,
what
I
the
do
fuck,
know it. Is it the Star
Caroline?
Trek song, is it? No?
Yeah,
Star
it's
Trek
Star Trek.
Universe. I remember
Across
it.
the universe on the Starship Enterprise under Captain Kirk. So not long prior to this, a couple had boarded a helicopter at Athens Airport for a joy flight. Once on board, a glamorous woman named Mrs. Alexandrova pulled a hand grenade from her handbag and told the pilot, "We're going to pick up the kids.
Oh, my God.
Cordalis prison or you die."
She's a tough bitch.
We're going to pick up the kids.
Yeah.
I've heard of dropping the kids off at the pool. This is outrageous.
Slightly different. What a lot of old shit.
Goodness me. With a hand grenade? A real hand grenade?
A real hand grenade, yep. The pilot flew straight to the prison, and as it hovered over the prison,
As you would.
Mrs. Alexandrova got up and, brandishing a machine gun, threw a rope ladder down to Rizai and Palaiokostas.
First, I got up and dropped a squat and dropped the kids off at the pool.
Is that because she's picking them
She
up?
put a rope ladder out.
I'm dropping the kids off at the prison.
Picking up the kids. What the?
A desperate guard lunged for the escaping inmates, but Rizai pulled out a kebab skewer and warned him, "Step back or I'll stick you."
Oh! You'll be kofta.
I was going to say, surely in Greece it's a souvlaki
That would have been
skewer.
a gyros skewer for sure. Yeah, God.
A gyros skewer, yeah. Goodness me. Where did he get that from? Oh. I don't know, they were gambling. He probably won it in
the
a
betting
game.
shop. The souvlaki van at the betting shop.
Actually, this maximum security prison that's got the kids playing pool against the fence with the oranges, everyone inside having a grey old time bloody gambling, it doesn't sound very tough to me.
So they jump on board the helicopter and the pilot pulls the lever for the maximum power and rose into the air. Below them, the prisoners were cheering and shouting. However, as soon as the helicopter door closed, 3 guards grabbed their MP5 submachine guns and opened fire, unleashing 30-round clips into the belly of the aircraft.
Unleashing their hot fury.
One bullet found the gas tank and another severed a fuel line.
Oh, no.
Aviation fuel sprayed into the cockpit as the pilot whispered a prayer. The helicopter was in trouble and the pilot knew it. He was forced to make an emergency landing.
I whispered a prayer. I was shouting that.
Dear God.
Jesus, Mother God, don't let me survive this.
Dear God, it's me. Dear God, it's me, honey. I was just we're a spot of bother here. I was just wondering maybe if you could sort of, help us out a little bit. Thank you.
If you're busy, I wouldn't mind if you could just spare a little bit of your time to not let me die right now.
I don't want to interrupt.
I just meant to drop the kids off at the pool and shit got real.
I just we're spot of bother here, yeah. And as I said, not a big one, no big hassle, no need to raise my voice. Just let you know I'm a little bit spot of bother.
If you just show me a small miracle, that'd be great. It doesn't have to be a big one, just a little one. Just let me land this without us all exploding in a fiery death. That'd be great. Cheers, thanks.
This is where sometimes you shouldn't believe everything you read, because a woman managed to capture the footage on the video, and I can show it to you, but it's fairly uneventful.
Who captured it? Sorry, Clarky? What woman?
A woman caught footage.
But she was outside the prison?
Outside
just
the
some
prison.
rando Palaiokostas.
Oh, my God.
I hope her rent was subsidised for this location where she lives. Bloody hell.
Well, remember, that's why they didn't want to shoot, because there's excellent view of the
it's
prison.
residential area.
You don't need a TV to live here.
I thought I heard her say Malacca.
You probably do.
That's not Greek though, is
She
it?
might have.
Yes.
I think she's also got a budgerigar
He's
or a
freaking out
finch in
too.
the background.
I'm unstoppable.
Uncatchable.
Uncatchable. Where's
She's zooming in.
No, she's filming.
Yeah, so that's the
Because
prison.
the bird's telling you to. Did you hear him? That's it. Closer. I can't see. He's saying zoom in. The bird's telling you. Listen, the bird's telling her.
Can't see a fucking thing. Can't see a thing. Oh, what was that? Was that
There's the helicopter.
the chopper?
Oh, there you go.
Look at the
Something
chopper.
trying to take- there it is. There it is. Oh, this is
know.
very
It's
dramatic.
very dramatic, but you'll
Even the
notice that
bird's
it
gone
doesn't
quiet.
look
The
like it's
chopper?
about to go down.
That bird was totally freaking. He was telling the lady, zoom in, I can't see.
Get out of the way. I want to look.
Zoom in. I can't see it.
It's the nanny from Tweety Bird. So it's not quite, the video footage doesn't quite show the same image as what I discussed with the bullet and the gas tank, but it is fairly dramatic all the same.
Well, that could have been happening inside.
Correct. It could well
But we
have
can't
been.
see it because it just looks like they fly away.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what isn't in dispute is that the helicopter was later found abandoned near a highway north of Athens, and the pilot was also found bound and gagged with a hood over his head.
Oh, that's
He told police the helicopter had been chartered by a couple who had chartered the helicopter a number of times in the previous weeks. According to the pilot, both Palaiokostas and Rizai were delivered to a getaway car. Television programs across Greece were interrupted with the news of the escape. For the second time, the nation was gripped by the adventures of Vasilis Palaiokostas. Exactly. Breaking news. Not again. You wouldn't read about it. Same prisoner, same prison, same helicopter. Following his second escape from the same prison, the Greek government came under intense criticism and sacked some high-level figures. Among the casualties were 2 high-level officials from Greece's Justice Ministry and several senior figures from the prison service, including the jail's director and the inspector for Greece's penitentiary system.
They need a big bird net over the prison so that choppers can't land.
Yeah. Or one of those EMP pulses so they can just disable anything in the air. Although there are kids kicking their soccer balls. You know, those electromagnetic pulses. Despite all of that stuff about the, government and prison system and blah, 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 it didn't take long for Vasilis to get back to his old antics. One night, after the escape, in a village near Koziakis, an impoverished family were at home. The father had serious health problems and was too poor to pay for treatment. Suddenly, there was a knock at the door. When they opened the door, a man tossed an envelope into the house containing 10,000 euros and vanished into the night. Palaiokostas Rizzo and his girlfriend, Mrs. Alexandrova, because that was really his girlfriend, went on the run together. You may not know this, but for the past 20 years, the CIA has operated a secret anti-terror squad in Athens. And they're known as the Invisibles.
Oh, for God's sake.
A crack team of 15 Greek and American intelligence officers tasked with smoking out terrorists and special case criminals. In 2009,
You're uncatchable.
What's that movie of The Incredibles? You know, the cartoon movie?
The stretchy ones. The red suits.
They can stretch and one's really fast. I've kind of got that in my head.
Dash, the boy, yes.
Yeah. So in 2009, Vasilis became their number one target. From a fake business address. I don't know. I can't believe I haven't heard of this
I think the Invisibles are sitting around waiting for a job like they're superheroes, just waiting like, we've got a job.
I mean, there's every chance. What are we going to do?
Well, if we don't get any work soon, we're going to have to go down that cheese factory and get on the line.
Oh, no.
I hear there's a vacancy.
So, from a fake business address near the 5-star Dovani Caravel Hotel in central Athens, the Invisibles helped the Greek police close the net, with American cash footing the bill. On the 31st of March 2009, at exactly 2:03 p.m., there was a highly unusual bank robbery in Trikala, Palaiokostas' hometown.
Did someone check the mysterious watch for that time?
The serious watch.
There was a call on the serious watch. 3 robbers, 2 men and one woman burst into the Alpha Bank. Armed with pistols and a short-barreled shotgun, the robbers wore tights over their faces and motorcycle helmets, and they yelled, "Robbery! All hands up!" The trio held up 7 employees and 15 customers.
Put your hands up! Put your hands up! Put your hands up! Put your hands up!
They emptied the safe of 250,000 euros before fleeing on 3 stolen motorbikes. Despite the fact that the net was closing, they managed to escape with the money. However, a couple of weeks later, on the 14th of April, a team of 15 undercover police in 3 unmarked cars chased Vasilis along the coastal road of Palaiokostas or something like that in southern Greece.
Nailed it.
I know, absolutely nailed it. They had a roadblock and managed to corner him, and they pointed their automatic weapons at him, prepared to shoot. Vasilis did not want to get captured, so he floored the accelerator and let it rip. He sped down an alley to escape, and as police opened fire and bullets were dancing inside his car's cabin, more than 150 bullets were fired in 15 seconds. However, none of them found their target. And just like that, Vasilis managed to escape and was on the run again.
He's a weasel.
It's so ridiculous. So he decided he'd write an open letter to the media describing how he managed to escape, I think as an attempt to further ridicule the police.
Shame them.
And he signed it off with a blue fingerprint. I'm assuming from one of the banks. You know how the banks used to have those things where they stamp everything in blue? I reckon he must have knocked one of them off. Then in November 2009, police received a tip-off that Rizai and his girlfriend Sula were living in a house in the Grammatiko neighbourhood in northern Greece. Police had been watching the house all night and entered it in the morning whilst everyone was still sleeping. They arrested both Rizai and Sula and found weapons including a Kalashnikov and a hand grenade. Rizai was returned to jail and Sula...
Was Sula one of the daughters of Con the Fruiterer? Sula Vula.
Rula, Sula, Vula, Tula, and the Guppy.
And the Guppy.
That is exactly what I
Sula
thought.
was the second daughter.
Yeah. Rizzo was returned to jail and Sula was subsequently convicted of hijacking the helicopter, though she still fiercely denies it was her. However, Palaiokostas was not captured and continued to invade the Invisibles. The next year, a letter bomb was sent to the public order minister, Michalis.
What happened to the Invisibles? They get the sack.
No one could see them. No, they're still chasing him. So a letter bomb was sent to the public order minister, Michalis Chrysokiokoidis. I nailed that. In an attempt to assassinate him.
Absolutely perfect, yeah.
The letter was opened by his 52-year-old aide, George Vasilakis, and it exploded in his hands, killing him instantly. Why is that relevant to our story? Well, yeah, correct. So you might go, what? That can't be part of this. Oh. So the authorities investigated, and on the 24th of June 2010, they announced that they had found Palaiokostas' fingerprint on the remains of the letter bomb. He was quickly branded a terrorist and a killer, and a bounty of €1 million was announced for information leading to his capture. However,
he didn't do that. They've planted that to make it look like he did it so that the public opinion would turn against him and they would hand him.
See, Schmitty, you are now just like all of his supporters who are not convinced that he was involved. He's winning your heart.
Well, he has, because he hasn't actually hurt anyone in the, what are we up to now, 40 years of his criminal history? 30 or 40 years of this?
20.
He's not hurt anyone. So that's very out of character. Although, having said that, remember that rapist on on the cruise crimes?
He's out of character.
Yeah.
He's been out of character that he raped him.
Wouldn't normally do that.
Okay, so maybe he could be bad. Okay, sorry, go on.
So his supporters aren't convinced that he was involved. They question how you could find a fingerprint on the remains of a bomb that exploded, killing someone and blowing down walls. At the time, the bombing was claimed by a group that used far-left rhetoric but did not name itself. 2 policemen and a journalist were killed between 2009 and 2011 as Greece suffered an increase in attacks by radical anarchists and far-leftists. The spike in political violence followed the fatal police shooting of an Athens teenager in 2008, which sparked days of rioting in major Greek cities. Militants' anger was also fueled by harsh government austerity measures taken to heal a barely solvent country's debt crisis. I don't know if you remember, around 2008, Greece was in a shitty way financially. Certainly at the time, there was evidence to suggest that others may have been responsible for the letter bomb, not Vasilis. And Vasilis has always maintained that in all his years as a robber and a fugitive, he's never fired a gun at a human. He also denies any involvement in the letter bomb. In October 2010, 2 banks were robbed on the same day. In Aegineo, near Thessaloniki, a robber smashed through the windows of the National Bank, then did the same at the Agricultural Bank, just 100 yards down the street, escaping with €240,000. God knows how they managed to rob 2 banks within 100 metres.
That's a lot of money to escape with for a smash and grab.
And 2 banks 100 metres away from each other. How do you do that? Surely after one's been robbed, the whole place is on high alert. So I did try to find more detail on that.
Big Greek hairy balls.
Big Greek hairy balls. BGHB. It's that classic acronym.
It's the old brothers, whatever they're called, playbook.
Correct.
Palaiokostas.
Palaiokostas playbook.
It's a classic. So because no one was harmed, the perp got away and was never found, but because no one was harmed, which is unusual in Greek robberies, apparently, local authorities came to the conclusion that it was highly likely to be the work of Vasilis. By now, Vasilis has been on the lam. Vasilis has been on the lam for 14 years now and has managed to evade police during that time. Everyone in Greece has a theory about where he lives today. and there are regular sightings. There are rumours in the villages that say Palaiokostas has a foreign girlfriend and a newborn baby boy. Many Greeks believe he is protected by monks living in the mountain monasteries that sit on the snow-capped peaks. Following on from the double bank robbery, a man resembling Palaiokostas was spotted on surveillance cameras at a petrol station. However, if it was him, it would appear that he'd had plastic surgery. In one hideout, the authorities found wigs and makeup, suggesting Vasilis may even be disguising himself as a woman.
Oh!
There have been epic manhunts where heavily armed police scour the countryside with heat-seeking helicopters flying over the mountains where Vasilis rustled cattle as a child.
Seriously, they're that keen on getting him.
Rustling cattle, barefoot.
Because he's made them look barefoot, exactly, a barefoot cattle rustler.
Yeah, sure.
Since the financial crisis in 2010 and the riots, hardship and unemployment that have followed, the ranks of anarchists and militant anti-capitalists have swelled. Exarchia is their stronghold, and Palaiokostas posters and graffiti on its walls emphasise the local support for his raids on the banks. At one point, police believed they had Palaiokostas cornered again inside a farm in the mountain regions of Kazani, some way north of Trikala. After a full-scale search of the property, all that was found were banknotes with serial numbers matching his ransoms and bank robberies, suggesting that he's very much at large today, doling out gifts to farmers. And lastly, Kaleidoscope brought out a podcast called Outlaw, the Good Thief, which is the story of Vasilis. I haven't had the opportunity to listen to it as yet. However, it is on my list, and I thought I'd share the prologue with you. It goes a little something like this. Vasilis Palaiokostas, a.k.a. Greece's Robin Hood, has been on the land for 14 years. In his absence, legends of his generosity have grown, but no one knows where he is or if the stories are even true. Here's what we do know. There's a €1 million bounty out for Vasilis, and a 24-hour task force trying to track him down. When he robs banks, he shares the money with the poor. When he kidnaps industrialists, and he only kidnaps those who are known for unfair labour practices, they give baffling interviews showing how he opened their minds. And when he escapes heavily reinforced prisons, as he's done by helicopter twice, he does it without harming a guard. Join host Miles Gray and our team of Greek reporters as we follow Vasilis' trail from Athens to the tiny islands to remote mountain hideouts. Along the way, we'll meet Vasilis' inner circle, chat with the police chiefs and prime ministers, and work to understand how this thief managed to steal the country's heart. So the podcast has actually been a hit.
They're obviously in love with him.
Yeah. And there are now reports that it will be turned into a series with several production houses fighting over the rights to the story. So that, my dears, concludes the remarkable story of Vasilis Palaiokostas, the Greek Robin Hood. What do you think?
Wow.
Well, look, I have laughed a lot through this. As far as I can tell, he gave €10,000 to some bloke in some poor
farmhouse.
Yeah, and how did you describe them? They were some destitute people.
Yeah, they were peasant girl zhazhas.
This is were they sad, destitute zhazhas?
Just threw an envelope in.
Sitting sadly in their little hovel until the door opened. And €10,000 was thrown at them. Anyway, regardless of that, he threw money out at people as a distraction. He gave €10,000 to that guy. Who else has he actually given money to? Because I feel like it's more of a myth.
He gave 10,000 drachmas to farmers.
Which is about 10
They just paid them 50 cents. He paid them more than the odds to keep their mouths shut, though.
Yes. He's a standover man.
So he paid lots of money to people
point is,
to hide him as well.
I don't feel he's that much of a Robin Hood.
Okay,
exactly, right? So he's not... There was a lot of money along the way that is unaccounted for because he's just been...
I don't know about the helicopter rides are not cheap.
Exactly, right? and Sula, she was spending good money.
Picking the kids up from the pool.
Just to double check, his new girlfriend and their baby, that wasn't Sula, was it?
Because Sula's Rizzo's girlfriend. Yeah, she got done for hijacking a helicopter.
Rizzo. Oh, where's Rizzo?
And she fiercely denies it. Yeah, so Sula was Rizzo, not Vasilis, not Basil.
Ah.
the concept of the Robin Hood being steal from the rich and give to the poor, he sort of gave to some poor people, but it was all to benefit himself, is what I'm saying. This guy is just a criminal.
He was quite
Vasilis he's cash rich at points. He blows it all, then he goes off and does another job. I mean, it's a crim.
Yeah,
the only
done
thing
that many robberies for sure.
The only thing that makes him amusing is the fact that he hasn't killed anyone. Like, if someone died along the way,
from the same
and I don't think he blew up. Well, that's the thing that's amusing about that is how stupid the prison system is. Oh God. So I don't even know from a sentencing perspective. I don't know what to say.
How do I?
It's not a victimless crime, but it kind of is.
It's not.
Apart from that poor bugger who got blown up, but I don't think it was Vasilis who did that.
No, I don't.
I would like to sentence the people who wrote that song. Could we go back to the song?
Can you do the lyrics of that again?
Yeah, I do need the lyrics of the song.
Vasilis is untouchable, and in his methods of escape, undefeatable. Vasilis, you are uncatchable.
Well, the lyrics of the song that I'm looking at, which I think will work quite well, are I'm unstoppable. I'm a Porsche with no brakes. I'm invincible. Yeah, I win every game.
I'm a cube with no brakes.
I don't need batteries to play. I'm so confident. Yeah, I'm unstoppable today. And
is that the Sia song?
Yes.
Yeah, perfect. You just need to change it to I'm a cube with no brakes.
I was just thinking with no brakes.
And I'm a thief with no shoes. Surely someone in the prison system needs to be sentenced. I'm not sure who.
I don't know. I mean, I love the fact that they're like, oh no, we can't fire a bullet because there are kids outside with their footballs and their oranges.
Maybe the town planners need to be sent to prison.
Yeah, maybe putting a maximum security prison in the middle of a residential zone to the point where we watched a woman, Scarlett, she got a discount on her rent.
What a shit place to live. Even the bird was going nuts. Quick, zoom in. He's so used to it. Another bloody jailbreak.
Not again, Mum. Shit.
Yeah, over there, not him. He's like doing directed film over there.
That stupid woman's gone to pick the kids up and she's gone to the wrong side of the wall. Yeah, I'd like to sentence Australia's media for not having covered this story because it's such a good story.
It's ridiculous.
Why doesn't this make our news?
Yeah.
I'm going to sentence.
What are you going to do, Clarky?
Clarky's going to do something.
The creators of Peasant World in Trial by Wine World to creating a shit world that exactly right, that doesn't have helicopters and shit next to the school play yards. And therefore, what the sentence is going to be is to all go to Greece and learn how to be better when you're creating Peasant World. So let's all go to Greece.
I mean, if that sounds like a roundabout way of saying, let's company expense a trip to Greece, which would be great if this company made any money.
Yeah. Can we take it on future earnings? We are on the fringe of how to be like Vasilis and rob a bank.
We might have to take a leaf from his book and watch a few Arnie Schwarzenegger films.
Oh, let's do that.
Because that's clearly the training ground. I'm so entertained by this that I can't sentence anyone in it. It's not a victimless crime, but I don't give.
It doesn't really
care.
require
I just thought it was the most entertainment I've had.
It just went on and on and on. It was like it was truly Benny Hill-esque in that.
Wait,
then he escaped again, and then he escaped again,
and
then he robbed a bank again. It's like so you didn't even have to go, didn't have to think too hard. Yeah, again.
He really is a legend in his own lunchbox. So
true.
Well done. That was a cracker of a story. Brilliant. No sentence from us. We love Vasilis. We're in the fan club. And as we say every week, miss you already.
Ciao.
Bye.
Ciao. Bye-bye. Thanks for listening to Trial by Wine. You can contact us at trialbywine@gmail.com. Please rate, review and subscribe to Trial by Wine on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. If you'd like to support us, you can become a patron at www.patreon.com, Trial by Wine. or visit our website www.trialbywine.com to donate to us. Your support will help us cover many more cases and apply wacky sentences. We really appreciate you listening and hope you tell everyone about us. Our cover art is by John Christo and music is by Beauchamp from pixabay.com.